Hi everyone, this is Cindy with Create with a Heart, and I'm back with part 2 of my envelope album, and looking for some pieces of some stuff that I had stashed. Okay, sorry about that. Things got a little out of whack. Let me get back in whack. Here we go. Okay, so this is where we're at. We're working on our spine, and here it is right here. Okay. So all I did was put tape on the grooves, okay, and then I put tape on the back here because I'm just going to attach these flaps to the back, and that will give you the stability you need for a nice spine. I had a paper clip and I don't know what I did with it. Okay, so I'm not worried about that right now. I don't even know if I will get that far to the paperclip stage. Okay, so the other side, I've got some tape, and I'm just gonna, okay. Okay, so this then becomes how it looks, and then there's a little bit here on the side that's excess. We don't need that, so I'm going to trim that. Okay, so that part is gone. Alright, so here we go. This is what we're left with. And this is our spine, okay? So what I'm going to do to make it easy for us to glide our pages on there is I'm just going to cut the corners off of my spine, and this just makes it easy for me to attach my pages, okay? Hopefully. And there we go. So this is what we're left with. You see it's all tapered. Okay, so my pages are ready to go. And I want to make sure that everything is, that my, oops, see? I almost put my pocket on backwards. Okay, so you want to make sure that everything's facing the way that you want it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the back. Okay, so you just take the tape off. And then you're going to fit your page on there. So fit your page on there and get it on there nice and straight. Okay, make sure it's on there. Okay, now we're going to go do our second page. And this part, you know, we'll kind of have to move and groove. So if I go off camera, I am terribly sorry, but moving and grooving means I might not be on the camera. So I can make sure that I get this step correctly. Okay, so you want to make sure it's on there. Now we're ready for the next one. And just slip it in. I try to line it up with the other pages so I end up with a straight book. It happens sometimes where it's not so straight. Okay, and then this is going to get this off. There's that, and almost done. last one. Okay. And I think I'll put this one this way. This way. We'll do the other side. Okay. I think that will work actually. Very nicely. Okay, so this is going to fit right like so. And here we go. Alright, so here is the meat and bones of my album. And, you know, it just takes a little bit of time to kind of work it so that it naturally, you know, opens where you want it to. And that's kind of normal. Okay, so there that is. And I love that. So that's your guts. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and work on our cover. Okay, so let me get all my cover pieces. Make sure I have everything I had. Oh well. Okay, I'm going to have to probably go up and get something later. Okay, so what you need, that right now, is you need your 2 covers. And I'm going to pull this down. Hoping you guys can see that better. Okay, so you have your 2 covers. And my covers measure 7.5 by 5.5. Okay, so you need 2 of those. My spine, which I'm hoping I cut my spine big enough, because sometimes I usually like to measure that. Oh yeah, that's actually kind of big. Let's see, my spine is only at 1 1/4, so I'm actually going to cut this down just a tad. So it's 7.5 by 1 3/4. I like to make it about 1/2 inch bigger, and that is enough space for me. People like to make their spines different sizes. So that one is going to be 1 3/4 by 7.5. So in order for you to measure your spine, I mean, it helps. I kind of cut this ahead of time, but usually what I do is I measure the width of the spine, which this one's 1 1/4, and then I add 1/2 inch, and that's how I decide how it's going to be. So you have your cover papers, and they measure about 1 inch bigger than your chipboard, okay? And my spine, I have this at 5 inches, and I think it's like 9 inches is what I cut it at, okay? And then I'm using Tyvek. You can use a piece of cardstock if you like instead. I'm using Tyvek. And I might trim this piece down if I don't like how wide it is. Okay, so I'm using my Tyvek, but if you don't want to use Tyvek or you don't have it, you can use a piece of cardstock. So this is cut at 7.5 by 5, okay? And the first thing that I do is I put some score tape on my spine. I start with my spine. Okay. So I start with my spine. I'm just going to take the score tape off. Okay. And so then I just put this down, what I guess is the middle. Okay. So there that is. Then what I do is on both sides, I put score tape right along there, because what I want to do is I want to give myself enough space that my covers can open and close easily, because you want it to be too close. So I want 1/4 inch. So I put this 1/4 inch tape down, and I'm not actually going to lift it up until after my covers are attached, my paper's attached. That just ensures that I give myself space for everything to move easily. Okay. So let's do this. And I always find all of this putting of the Tyvek a little bit tedious. It's not my favorite part. Okay, we have it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove score tape, leaving the 1/4 inch next to the spine piece intact. I won't take that off until things are attached. Okay, so that's going to go there. I don't worry about the rough edges because you're not going to be able to see any of that once everything gets attached. And there you go. There. Okay. So you've got the bones of an album going on. Okay, so now the next step is our covers. So, whoa, these are sliding. So this is going to be my cover. So I want to make sure that, and I think what I'm going to do for this one, I do different things sometimes, but I think I'm going to put down my spine piece first for this one. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let me get this a little bit straighter for me. That way I can hopefully measure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Tyvek on all of the, put score tape all around the Tyvek. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I really want the Bohemian Bazaar words to show, because that's going to actually be the title of my album. So here we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do for this piece is I'm going to go ahead and put it's down there, and okay, we are ready. That's my spine. Okay, so I'm going to take all the score tape. I go through so much score tape. Up. Oh, that side's not coming up. I will try this side. There we go. And that one. Okay, and then I'm going to take the score tape that I have on the two ends. Okay, like this. That down, and then I just kind of fold it and work it. Okay, sometimes I put the cover, the paper first cover, and I do this spine part last. So it just depends on what kind of look you want. Okay, so then my Bohemian Bazaar paper then is going to fit. I'm trying to think here. How much? I'm gonna put here. Okay. So just put score tape, mostly on your chipboard. just going to put the score tape right on the edge, one edge, the edge that's going to go on the spine. Okay, so let's take all of this off. And lay down your cover. Now I'm going to put like a trim piece here, so don't worry about that. Okay, so now let's work on the back. There we go. And get the score tape all on the edges of your chipboard. And then I'm going to put it on, let's see, I'm going to use the blue side, I think. Okay, here, so I'm going to do it one on one end. If I'm off camera, I'm sorry. Okay, so now, and again, I already planned on doing trim pieces, so I'm not worried about the rough edges. On here straight. And okay. Alright, so once you get to this side, I'm going to snip the corners. And everybody has a different way of doing this part. This is the way that I do it. It's easy for me. And, okay. And so I'm going to start with the top, and I'm just going to kind of flip that. Now this is where you can take that piece that you had in the middle up. There's that one and that one. Okay, so okay. Now what I do is I put the score tape on the chipboard. And then I put it at the very tippy top edge of the paper. See, like that. Alright, and then you take all the score tape off. There we go. And alright. So then just fold it over snugly. Okay, and then I try to, can't really see it on camera, but I try to fold it and work it into the grooves. Okay? Best that I can. Alright? So I'm going to flip this over and work on this side. go. Let's work this over a little bit. Again, I try to work it into those grooves so that it will fold easily. It's off camera, I'm so sorry. Okay, now we're going to do this last one, same thing on the chipboard and then on the edge of the paper. Isn't that nice? There's that. And then let's do same thing here. And okay, so here is what your cover looks like, and this is what's going to fit right here. So when we come back in the third video, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for my closure, and we're going to cover the inside and attach the spine.